I don't even remember how many programs we have done on I personally, I'm talking about myself on various platforms. I have dealt with programs on electoral malpractices. I've spoken about manipulations. I've spoken about the voter turnout, how it is being amplified artificially. All of this we have done, and there has been a lot of outpouring on the social media as well regarding these programs, and people have a lot to say about it. But when we have an election commission which has closed its eyes, which has closed its ears, it is not ready to listen to the people. And so how does one shake the stupor of an election commission which looks so calcified at the moment?
They appear to be unshakable because they're impervious to any public criticism, any criticism.
Yes.
Now, I remember, electoral bonds, for example, it was illegal. The Supreme Court held it was illegal. Thousands of crores of money was lying with BJP. I said, you please freeze it. Let them not use it in the elections. It's illegal money. But they don't respond. Now, more important is, I remember in 2016-17, both the political parties, not only BJP, all political parties, they were taking donations from foreign companies. Under the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, it was a violation. So I went to the Delhi High Court, got an order, positive order. They said prosecute both the parties. They went to the Supreme Court, they lost the case. And then I wrote to them, please, for heaven's sake, prosecute them for violating the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. Now, what is the response of the government? They quietly amended the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act retrospectively from 1976. And they were not happy. That is not enough. Their greed for money was so much that they went ahead and amended the Companies Act to remove the ceiling of 7.5% of profits on donations. And even that was not enough because they were avaricious about getting funds. So they went and introduced this egregious electoral bonds scheme. It's illegal. So in several ways, and then they were using electoral bonds to extort companies to collect donations. I mean, this is not democracy. It should not have happened. So these are many things on which the Election Commission, then of course I wrote to the President of India. The Election Commission was just not in a mood to reply my letters. It's a matter of shame for the 3 election commissioners to behave that way. When somebody writes to them, they have the responsibility to clarify. See, if they're correct, let them say that, but they don't even say that. So that way, the public confidence today has plummeted in the Election Commission. And, this chief election commissioner makes a statement recently. He made a statement which I referred to in my letter. He says, I'm just waiting to retire and I want to detoxify myself by going to Himalayas. I want to tell Mr. Rajiv Kumar that India's democracy requires detoxifying itself because of what all that is happening today. So this is something where I feel that this is a very serious matter. And, political parties, a political party which says I must win elections at any cost. And then after elections, they're prepared to buy legislators, they put them up in 5-star hotels, they buy them, and then they use the Enforcement Directorate and CBI to threaten them. And then the moment they join BJP, they become all right, they're honest. I mean, this kind of thing, we are not, this is not what, the Constitution framers have promised us, a democracy like this. I still remember, Dr. Ambedkar, when he presented the draft Constitution document to the Constituent Assembly, he made a brilliant speech, very, very good speech. In that one para, I always remember, that is, he says, look, I'm worried about this Constitution document. It's a paper document. If there is a good government, if it operates, it is a good document. If there's a bad government operates, it's a bad document. Then he says, I'm worried about landslide victories. See, the landslide victories, he says, it comes out of bhakti. He uses the word bhakti. He says, bhakti in religion, I don't know. But bhakti in politics is dangerous because it can lead to dictatorships. And dictatorships destroy institutions. And today, what we are seeing, Dr. Ambedkar was correct. And his fears were absolutely correct. So I want to convey through your channel, winning an election is not everything in a democracy. But winning through unethical means, winning through illegal means is not democracy. And if a political party thinks that they can remain in power, they can win elections this way for long, I don't think they will not have a future. They will not have a, see, they may fool the people for a short time, but people in India are very mature and great. At one point, they are going to teach a lesson. It's not going to be like this everywhere. So people should realize, political parties have a responsibility. After all, they are subordinate to the people of India, and they cannot do anything, that hurts democracy. Our entire constitution document rests on very firm democratic principles, and they cannot be shaken. And once democratic principles are shaken, all these election commission and all, they realize what will happen.
No, but Mr. Sarma, what is the real solution now? And how does one shake the Election Commission of India if, the people, I don't know how much they'll be able to respond. Political parties, I don't know how much they'll be able to respond and take it to the courts. How will the courts respond? Nobody knows. So everything looks very, very uncertain. And amidst this uncertainty, do you think that these issues like manipulation in the voter list and the way, look at the manner in which, BJP is doling out goodies. They are distributing jackets, they are distributing shoes, saris, gold chains. That's what Arvind Kejriwal also claimed in the press conference, that this is what is being done to the voters. And the voters themselves are saying that there was a BJP candidate who came and gave us a sari, a shoe, and a jacket, some hard cash. So what would you say? And where are we headed to then?
See, Mr. Modi himself, I think, called them revdies. He made fun of other political parties. He is doing exactly the same thing today. So how can people have confidence in a person who changes his statement every few months? See, basically, a person, public trust is something, which you have to earn. You cannot just assume that the public trust is in you. Public trust you earn by convincing people, by being consistent, by being honest and ethical. That's very important. So I somehow, public discussion, channels like you, and some political parties, like for example, Aam Aadmi Party interview, that the press conference, Sanjay Singh, it was a very good thing with facts, absolute facts, numbers. Can you imagine a basement in one of these areas has got 20 people, 20 voters? I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. A small room has got 30 voters. How can it be? And these are all very senior people, holding important positions. And how can they remain in those positions? In fact, I personally feel if these things are correct, those people whose names are mentioned, they should all resign. They should resign from politics permanently. So these things, I think public ultimately will take, the whole thing into their hands. And I'm a great believer in people's strength, in the strength of democracy. And public is, people are always there, to shake a system. It happened several times in India in the last 70 years. Somebody who thought it was absolutely important, and then next moment, they're out. And people will teach them a lesson. And I personally believe that these political parties, they cannot continue to have public trust like this. And the Election Commission, which is a constitutional authority, they should feel very proud that they're placed in their position. I mean, they've got enormous powers. The constitutional article under which they created, the Supreme Court said you can invoke is a reservoir of authority, but they don't. Say, an institution which refuses to invoke its power, it is a dysfunctional institution. And these three election commissioners, I'm afraid, have really, reduced that institution to that level.
What is the way out now? And because is Delhi elections also going to be stolen, just like what there is a perception that Haryana was stolen, Maharashtra was stolen, Lok Sabha elections was also a stolen mandate. So is Delhi also headed towards a stolen mandate now?
See, you can steal a mandate for a short while. BJP was in power in Delhi at one time. I remember when I was in government, BJP was in power. They were out of power soon. So these are all temporary, like when you travel in an aircraft, there's turbulence. You're worried. At a particular point of time, you feel that this turbulence is going to last forever. But then you come out of that. So I would only look at it as an aberration, a turbulence, out of which all of us will come out. And those who are responsible for this will pay very heavily for that. They will not have a future. You can call it a wish.
For all what is happening, all sorts of manipulations, where does the buck stop here? When you see a democracy being dug up like this, the foundations of democracy, when they are dug up in a country like this, where does the buck stop? Does it stop at the Prime Minister? Does it stop at the Chief Election Commissioner of India? Or because it involves the entire system? Now, look at the recent investigation which was done by News Laundry. And and Dhruv Rathi has done a video, and I'm sure you must have seen it, where the BLO, the booth level officer, has admitted on camera that yes, they were under pressure to sign the Form 6 where voters were added. And she admitted it on camera. There was a lady, I'm forgetting her name, but she admitted it on camera. So for all this, when the entire system has become crooked, where does the buck stop?
The buck stops the people. Nobody else. I think it's the people. I have a program in Visakhapatnam.
How will people decide the fate of Rajiv Kumar, or how will people decide?
No. What happens, from below, a swell comes. We've got a Praja Manifesto program here going on in slums. And slums, for example, they want candidates to give them a written assurance that we will attend to all these problems and we'll report to you every 3 months. And initially, everybody thought it was a joke. But now, these people, leaders are afraid to go to the slums and ask for votes because they'll turn back and say, you sign this. This is what we introduced here. No, these are all small initiatives. But I think, finally, there will be a wave-like thing which will, put back the system, reboot the system, computer language. So I am very confident, I'm an optimist, and I'm sure it will happen. But I'm very happy that this kind of a discussion is taking place all over. I'm sure many other people are discussing like this, and I've already seen people writing on this. So let us hope. We should be optimistic in this.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sarma, for joining, and it's always a pleasure having you on the program, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Stay ahead with our cutting-edge news app. Instantly access the latest shorts in just 1 minute and breaking news in just 50 words. Download now for a smarter, faster news experience.